Good news, everybody. Okay, watch this spot on the shuttle, the black shuttle, over this white square of the chassis. Now, I'm moving about 500 encoder ticks each time, which is about 5/6 of an inch. And notice that I can go back to that spot from either direction, which means there's no backlash in the gearing. And here, from this direction, you can see it overshoots. It'll go too far and then go back. I have the PID set up to be within a tolerance of 5 encoder ticks. So that's about 5/600ths of an inch, because I think this is a 600 dpi printer shuttle. So that's pretty precise for a 3D printer, I think. And I can make it more precise if I want. And the other thing is I'm going 500 ticks at a time, whereas the controller will really only send one step at a time, and so I only have to meet that one step requirement, and the PID won't ramp up so fast, and so it won't overshoot, I don't think. But it's amazing how precise these things can be. And once the controller gets in, it's going to send a acceleration profile to this shuttle, so it'll take care of the slowing down, which will make it not overshoot its target. So let's take a look at the motion we created with the pure PID, and then we can look at how a motion controller like Gerbil or Marlin can improve the positioning and the accuracy over time. So initially we used a pure PID where we told it we wanted to go to this target right here, and you notice it overshoots a little. If I rewind, you can see this spot. See how it overshot and then it comes back? That's because with a PID system you tell it the final position you want to achieve. So let's say we wanted to go to position 9 and we started at position 0, and the time we tell it to go to position 9 is over here. So we tell it to go right here to position 9. So the PID ramps up and it gains speed to get to that position, and it might overshoot and oscillate and ring a little bit, but it'll eventually settle down to that position. Now, we didn't get to tell it this acceleration with the controller. The PID took care of that, and it decided how fast to get up to this position and how to compensate to go back down. Now, in a pure step and direction controller, you usually use stepper motors. So the stepper would just go up one step, each time, and the position would stay really precise. But with this encoder, we don't have step and direction. So we're going to use the PID to achieve a step and direction controller. So what the step and direction controller do is it'll tell it one step at a time, and the PID will attempt to go to that one step. And that one step might overshoot a little and come back down, but it won't be so pronounced. In the next step it'll go up. To the next step the PID will decide how to get there, and the next, and the next, and the next, and every now and then you might get a little overshoot or ringing, okay? But it'll settle down and it'll go to its final position. So let's look at the final two graphs. So at this time we wanted to be here, and we got mostly linear, maybe piecewise linear to get there. But on the pure PID, we just we didn't get there in a linear fashion. We had no way to tell it to get there in a linear fashion unless we specifically broke up the steps into linear steps to go from here to here linearly. But instead the PID just decided how to do it and get to that position. So with the Gerbil controller, it'll slice up the time and it'll determine a acceleration graph and decide how to accelerate and how to deaccelerate so the momentum of the shuttle won't overpower the stopping of the motor and go past your target position. So this is what Gerbil or Marlin take care of. They take care of the acceleration and deacceleration of your gantry or your CNC router or your 3D print head. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to combine the cheapness of the inkjet salvage parts, and they're also very quiet, precise, and could be very fast. And I'm trying to combine that with the ease of using Gerbil or Marlin, which is a free controller which is already out there. And I haven't seen any CNC machines or 3D printers use these inkjet encoder sleds, and I think it would be great to have a big resource that gets thrown away all the time that we could use for these machines. Testing a step-dir motion controller with a PID-driven servo motor. Overshoot could be tested by drawing, printing, or cutting a square. Watch for wavy corners, then adjust the PIDs and/or the max velocity and acceleration of the Gerbil or Marlin motion controller. Coordinated motion, that is, simultaneous X and Y motion, could be tested with a diagonal line. Watch for a line which looks like a wavy line. As an aside, I'm not sure how a native DC encoder system, i.e. one that processes G-code without a step-dir controller, would coordinate two axes both using encoders. If a request is given to move 100 units in X and only 10 in Y, the PID would need to be very complicated to maintain a linear line instead of a hockey stick, where the Y motion is finished before the X has completed its longer journey. So maybe these encoder systems still parse a path into small steps, but then you don't get the main advantage of using a PID, which is to ramp up quickly to a high speed while avoiding overshoot. I've searched many places for the answer to how coordinated motion is achieved in an encoder drive, but most of my discussions end in me only explaining the problem.